Now, at the center of an unanticipated storm is the man who is well known for his motivational speeches, his capacity to inspire millions of people, and his unwavering presence as a beacon of faith. Bishop T.D. Jake, whose name has come to represent hope and spiritual direction for innumerable people, has been a pillar of strength for decades. But what happens when the foundation of that strength starts to show signs of instability? For years, his life appeared to be perfect. His books became bestsellers, and his sermons reverberated around the world. His family seemed to live up to the principles he advocated, but something was simmering beneath the surface. Now, after years of silence, the lady who supported him through every hardship, victory, and difficulty has chosen to come clean. What could be so surprising and profound that it took her years to speak up? What is the reality that was kept hidden for so long? Yamilat. Sarita Jake, the lady who has shared this extraordinary art journey with him, is finally speaking out. This is more than simply a narrative about a marriage or a position in the ministry. It tells the tale of the human side of one of the most significant spiritual figures of our time. And as these revelations come to light, they will upend our preconceived notions about Bishop T.D. Jake and his apparently ideal life. Stay with us as we reveal a long hidden tale that will cause you to reflect and possibly even reevaluate your own beliefs. Now that the truth has come to light, it is much more stunning than anyone could have predicted. The name is Bishop T.D. Jake. That reaches far beyond the boundaries of his church. And as a pastor, novelist, filmmaker, and businessman, his impact crosses decades, continents, and cultures. He is renowned for his intensely personal sermons and his incredibly relevant themes, and through his ministry, he has established a legacy that few can match. T.D. Instinct and Crushing, two of Jake's best-selling books that offer advice to those in need, and his conferences like Woman Though Art Lost have empowered millions of women. Jake's has had a profound impact on countless lives. Amid the difficulties of life, his movies, such as Heaven is for Real's Jumping the Broom, demonstrate his ability to combine spirituality and popular narrative to appeal to viewers well beyond the pulpit. Bishop Jakes has consistently portrayed himself as a loving family man despite his professional accomplishments. For years, he has shared tidbits of his personal life, showing a healthy balance between his demanding career and his roles as a husband and father at the same time. His wife, Sarita Jake, is the center of his personal life. They have been together for more than 40 years and have supported him through all the highs and lows. Their union is frequently regarded as a brilliant example of love, cooperation, and resiliency. Together, they have raised 5 children and created a family that appears to uphold the values of according to the Jake. Their marriage has been viewed as a symbol of eternal love that has withstood many hardships and come out stronger on the other side. However, as we start to unravel the layers of this ostensibly flawless story, we begin to realize that even the strongest ties can conceal untold tales. Beneath the facade of perfection, there is a story that contradicts all we have assumed about this famous couple over the years. Congregants and keen observers noted times that didn't exactly fit the perfect image, but they were ephemeral and readily dismissed. An odd grin when appearing in public, an unusual absence from an occasion, or even the odd casual comment that appeared packed with hidden significance. These incidents were minor and unimportant when seen alone, but when seen collectively, they created a tense atmosphere that was difficult to ignore, and whispers started to circulate. Some hypothesized that the demands of running a worldwide ministry may have been negatively affecting their marriage, while others alluded to private arguments that never reached the pulpit or social media, but were frequently overshadowed by the overwhelmingly positive sentiment. For the couple after. Sarita Jake remained the epitome of grace and loyalty despite everything. She was the devoted wife and silent power behind the man who inspired millions. Who could have imagined that the seemingly ideal Jake family could be anything else? Her inability to participate in gossip or stoke rumors was frequently interpreted as evidence of her character. But what if it was more than simply grace? After standing in the shadow of her husband's imposing legacy for years, what if it was a shield shielding a truth too terrible to face? It is not about seeking retribution or destroying the man she once loved. Rather, it is about finding her own voice in a story that has long been dominated by his commanding presence. Sarita has now made the decision to come into the spotlight, not out of malice, but rather out of a need to be heard. Oh, although what she discloses is far from the picture-perfect story, the world has come to know in the past Sarita's choice to come forward signals a turning point, not only for her, but also for the millions of others who have admired Bishop T.D. Jake and the seemingly unbreakable partnership they formed. Oh, yes. An honest and sincere revelation. Sarita begins by discussing the emotional toll of being married to a man of such enormous influence during the time when the world witnessed TD. She then goes on to discuss the issues that have been simmering beneath the surface for decades. Jake is a visionary, a leader, and a man of God. Sarita relates instances of emotional neglect that made her feel invisible. She also explains how his unwavering quest of excellence frequently resulted in their relationship being neglected in favor of his ministry, a hide for his ministry. The most shocking revelation is that he made a decision years ago that almost ended their relationship. She acknowledges that it wasn't that he was purposely mean or cruel, but rather that being with someone so driven sometimes felt like living in their shadow. She started to question whether she was actually his partner or just a supporting character in his story. Bishop Jake made a very personal financial decision without informing Sarita, which, despite his good intentions, caused a great deal of stress in their marriage. Says, I've always supported him, but in that moment I realized that support doesn't mean silence, doesn't mean sacrificing your own needs or opinions for the sake of someone else's vision. She describes how it left her feeling betrayed and excluded, as if her voice and partnership didn't matter. Her revelations are an honest account of their shared humanity rather than an attack on her husband. She emphasizes that her desire to disclose these realities stems from a place of healing rather than vengeance, as she speaks with a blend of love and grief. The public response was swift and strong, and I want people to realize that nobody is perfect, not even ourselves. And that's okay. True strength comes from accepting one's flaws and overcoming them. Supporters of Bishop Jakes found it difficult to connect the statements from his wife with the image of their beloved leader. Many expressed incredulity, arguing that such charges couldn't possibly be genuine, while others viewed Sarita's bravery as an essential step in the direction of transparency. The community's reactions were divided, with some members feeling deceived and wondering if the guy they had elevated could still guide them. They praised her for speaking her truth and reminded the world that even the most renowned individuals are not immune to personal challenges within the church. Others supported him, pointing out that his flaws made him more approachable rather than less, serving as a reminder that we are all fallible. One churchgoer even stated that our leaders require compassion and grace. According to reports, the couple's close friends were split on Sarita's decision to go public. While some were shocked, others praised her courage and said, this wasn't about tearing her husband down. It was about finding healing for herself, for their family, and perhaps even for him. I've carried this weight for so long. A confidant shared that Sarita is trying to heal herself and help others who might be going through similar struggles. Her words struck a chord with many who had felt silenced in their own lives, igniting crucial conversations about the price of perfection and the value of authenticity. Although painful, the revelations also provided Bishop Jake with a deeper understanding of the pressures that come with living in the spotlight. She stated that this isn't about blame or revenge, but rather about honesty and demonstrating that even in the most picture-perfect lives, there are challenges, and that's okay. The story of TD and Sarita Jake is no longer just about their achievements or public image. It is about resilience, vulnerability, and the courage to face the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it may be, for those who have followed their journey. He handled the situation with humility, admitting his shortcomings and reaffirming his commitment to his family and his faith. I'm not perfect, he said, but he is willing to learn to grow and to be better not just as a leader, but as a husband and father. Anva serves as a potent reminder that even the strongest foundations can be rebuilt at first, and that healing begins with honesty. Within days, Bishop Jake confessed, I never realize how you get so caught up in the work and the calling that you forget to tend to the people who matter most. Side. Those close to him described a man struggling with the weight of his wife's words, not out of anger, but rather out of deep introspection. Bishop Jake addressed the matter from the pulpit with the congregation, which had stood by him through many victories and setbacks, gathered with bated breath to hear his sermon. Grace in the storm. Grace in the storm. Would he dismiss the claims as misunderstandings or embrace the truth with humility and a steady but emotional voice? Bishop Jake started his sermon. "It was never my intention to hurt her," he said, his voice heavy with regret, "but intention doesn't erase impact, and for that I am deeply sorry." I am a man who has been called to lead, inspire, and guide, but I am also a flawed man who has made mistakes and who has sometimes failed the people closest to me, he continued. Acknowledging the pain Sarita had expressed and accepting full responsibility for the ways his relentless pursuit of his ministry had occasionally overshadowed his role as a husband. The lecture turned into a masterclass in vulnerability, offering a unique window into the heart of a man who had been regarded as a bishop who was larger than life for decades. Jake stressed the value of accountability, forgiveness, and the continuous process of reconciliation in his speeches to both his wife and his followers. Behind the scenes, efforts were already being made to start restoring trust in their marriage. He added that faith isn't about acting like we have everything together, but rather about believing that God can create something beautiful even in our brokenness. Bishop Jake postponed a number of speaking engagements in order to spend more time with his family and close friends throughout their recovery. Shortly after the sermon, he committed a genuine transformation rather than merely apologizing, as seen by his admission that he sought individual and marital counseling to address the difficulties that had been brought to light. In a public statement, Bishop Jake reaffirmed his dedication to Sarita and their journey together. He stated, "Sarita has always been my partner, my confidant, and my greatest supporter. Her bravery in speaking her truth has reminded me of the grace and strength she has always shown." As he worked to restore trust with Sarita in his congregation, Bishop Jake's response was a potent reminder of the humanity behind the pulpit. It wasn't a denial of the difficulties they were facing, but rather an embrace of them. Possessed together, we will face this new chapter with honesty, love, and faith for his followers. Bishop Jake demonstrated that true leadership isn't about perfection, but about humility, growth, and the readiness to face one's shortcomings head on. Unquote. For Bishop Jake, this introspective and humble trip signified a significant change. After decades of helping others navigate their storms, he now had to do the same for himself. His sermons from that point on carried a new burden. A hard-won wisdom that can only be gained by enduring the flames as the couple work together. He informed his audience that forgiveness is a process rather than a destination, and that often the toughest person to forgive is yourself. Their journey to recovery and reconstruction turned into a resilience lesson. It wasn't about destroying the past, but about growing from it and utilizing it as a springboard for a more resilient future. Their readiness to face their difficulties head-on became an inspiration to others going through similar struggles.